Thanks, Shreya. And hello, everybody. It's very nice to have you all here today at NASScom. Thanks for joining me, and I'm going to walk you through in the next 20 minutes or so my thoughts on the future of AI and what it means for all of us. So you might be wondering, well, why are we listening to this guy? Who is he? Well, quick introduction. My name is Steve Brown. I spent 30 years or so working in the tech industry. So a long time working at Intel when they were at the height of their influence. And then more recently, I worked for DeepMind, which is the Alphabet AI research company. So I've been spending a lot of time recently thinking about the future of AI. I've spent some time as an entrepreneur. I am a co-founder of a supply chain transparency company, which is quite successful lately, called the Provenance Chain Network. If you haven't heard of it before, check it out. And I spent probably 5 or 6 years of my career as a professional speaker, traveling around the world, working with major brands, helping them to understand what the future is going to mean for them, how they can embrace technology and embrace digital transformation to better serve their customers and streamline their businesses. And as a result of doing that work, I wrote a book called The Innovation Ultimatum, available in all good bookshops. Right, so that's me. I spend my time thinking about the future. I call myself a futurist, and that means I'm thinking 5 to 10 years out about the implications of technology and how we can use those to make our businesses more streamlined and make the world a better place. So that's me. So you can't have missed, if you watch anything in the tech press, you can't have missed all of the hoopla about AI, particularly the latest round of AI, generative AI, and all of the excitement around products like ChatGPT and then the responses from Google. So let's just walk through that quickly for those of you who have been under a rock for the past, I guess, 3 months. OpenAI, which is a company founded in 2015 and funded in part, a lot now, by Microsoft. They launched this thing called ChatGPT, which got everybody's attention because it's starting to approach something that feels like a general AI, an AGI. And it got a lot of interest, and within 5 days, it had got 1 million users, the fastest to 1 million users of any of the major technologies we've seen in the last 20 years. Got everybody's attention, particularly got Google's attention, and they started to figure out what they could do to respond. They've been working on these types of technologies for many years, and they announced Bard, which is their ChatGPT, I don't want to say equivalent because they're not, but their response to ChatGPT. Unfortunately, that launch didn't go too well, and you saw $100 billion wiped off the value of the company with a small error. But I think that gives you a hint of how difficult it is to bring these technologies to market and to do it responsibly, safely, and in a way that is going to be reliable. ChatGPT is starting to have some of those moments too. It's now starting to be fused together with Bing, Microsoft's search platform, and you're already starting to see some headlines coming out. Like the new AI-powered Bing is threatening people. That's no laughing matter. You're starting to see Bing ChatGPT get these split personalities, say weird things. These are consequences of bringing a technology to market that is not quite ready yet. So, one could argue that maybe Google is being more prudent here, but the key thing to know is this is a very powerful set of technologies, and it is here to stay, and it is going to change the way that we all work, and it is an indicator of where AI is going in the future. So let's talk more about that. So generative AI as a category is getting a lot of attention, it's getting a lot of investment from a variety of different sources. On the right-hand side here, you see the landscape of generative AI as cataloged by Sequoia Capital back in November. It gives you an idea of the types of companies that people are paying attention to. And there's lots of different types of generative AI. Generative AI is called generative AI because it generates content, whether that is images or scripts or complicated answers or code. It is creating something. It's a breakthrough technology that is based on transformers. It's a technology that was developed by Google back in 2017. And that's the foundation of things like large language models, diffusion technologies, and other techniques that help you to generate content. It's pretty incredible. If you haven't used it, it's very impressive. But, and there's a big but, it has flawed results. You get weird images, you get text that is not always accurate. that is perhaps biased, that is perhaps sexist, that is perhaps racist. And the companies who create these are working hard to try and limit all of those things. But these are the issues that are bubbling below the surface that we need to be thinking about and worrying about as we consider incorporating these into business processes in our companies. The other thing to know about these technologies is the same way that we all had to learn how to use word processing, spreadsheets, PowerPoint, Keynote, all the software packages that we use to do our jobs, we had to learn how to use those to get the best results out of them. And the same is true of these AI tools. You have to learn how to give it the right prompts, to ask it the questions in the right way, or to give it the right text input in order to get the best results, in fact, the results that you want. So we're moving to an era where we're going to have to learn a whole new set of tools if we want to be maximally productive in the workplace. I'll give you a few examples. There's image creation packages, many of them out there. This is from Midjourney. This is the type of prompt you might put in to get the image that you see on the right there. It's a pretty amazing image. It takes a little bit of prompting, but you can also create very detailed prompts if you want to have high control over the image that you're going to get out of it. And people spend a lot of time doing what's called prompt engineering to get the exact right prompt to get the results that they want. Because I'm not physically in front of you today, I thought I would try and recreate that experience using Midjourney. I had a bit of fun with it yesterday, and I did a prompt. Futurist Steve Brown stood in front of a giant, colorful screen on a keynote stage, delivering a presentation on the future of AI to an audience of 5,000 people. I put a few little things in there, make it look like it was photographic. It doesn't look like me, but it's bald. It's got purple cuffs. It's pretty impressive. I wish I had more fingers. Apparently I only have 3 fingers on that hand, but it's an impressive tool. You can do impressive things with it, and you can have fun with it too, as I did there. The point I'm trying to make is you have to really try hard to get the results that you want. And that means that you need to learn how to build these prompts to put into these AIs, the generative AIs. And you can even go and buy prompts now. You can go to companies like PromptBase, which are marketplaces for people prompt engineers who create these prompts to help you to get the results that you want out of GPT or Midjourney or any of these types of generative AI packages. So it is not straightforward. It is not easy. It's a whole new language we're going to have to learn, at least for now, until these things get better and become more interactive, so that we can start to say, oh, that image of Steve doesn't quite look like him. Can you make the nose a little straighter? Can you make him look a little less harsh? And start to modify the image interactively. So the point I'm making is it's going to be hard, and we're going to have to learn how to talk to AIs. This is a point that was made really well in a recent Atlantic article. Talking to AI might be the most important skill of this century. And I agree with that. Learning to interact with these AIs is going to be a vital skill for all of us, for all of your employees. It's going to require a lot of practice and a lot of training, especially as these AIs become more and more sophisticated and they become a part of our daily working lives, from minute by minute, using these AIs, these assistants, to work alongside us. There's a big difference, and this is an example from the article. In asking an AI, write a 5-paragraph book report about Animal Farm, you'll get a fairly generic result, which isn't that interesting. But if you put a little bit more effort into it, you know what you're really looking for, and you have the prompt, write a 5-paragraph book report at college level, with elegant prose that draws on the history of the satirical allegorical novel Animal Farm, reference Orwell's Why I Write, while explaining the author's stylistic choices in the novel, you will get a much more interesting and valuable output. So knowing what to, it's kind of one of those things where you get out what you put in. So learning how to put what you want into these things is vital. What I think we are approaching now, I mean, you can slice this many different ways. Is this the second era of computing? Is it the third or the fourth? I choose to think of it as the fourth era of computing. Mainframes, which were things, big room-sized computers in the 60s and 70s that were used by thousands of people. PCs, servers, and the internet that were used by hundreds of millions of people. and then ultimately mobile and cloud used by billions of people, we are moving to a new paradigm of computing built around AI and assistance, where those other three eras may become a lot less relevant. What I mean by that is, today you might pick up your phone, you peck through different apps to get to do the things that you want. This has become the remote control of modern life. When you have an AI assistant that understands everything about your life and that you can just talk to and have do things on your behalf, maybe iOS and Android become a lot less relevant. And what does matter to you is the assistant that you're using in your life. And they take care of controlling all the apps that you would otherwise use. Now, does it mean phones are going to go away completely? I don't think so. But it may become the predominant way that you interact with the digital world around you is through your assistant. So I think it's a very big deal, and it defines a completely new era in computing where there will be new winners and losers, and we will have to rethink the way that we interact with our devices, with our information, and with the people around us. I think what this leads us to is working in an era where the future of work is defined by AI and human partnerships, by artificial intelligence assistants working in partnership with us to help us get our jobs done. And those AI assistants will start being generic, but we can also expect to have specific AI assistants that are tailored to the types of work that we do. So imagine a doctor that is working in a medical setting, a medical environment, having an AI assistant that helps them to visualize data, helps them to form diagnostic ideas, to make sure that they're not prescribing drugs that are perhaps going to interact with other drugs that patient is on, but a partnership between an assistant and a human working together so that they together deliver better results than they would alone. And this gives us all kinds of amazing opportunities as we think about the future of work and the future of human potential. I'll give you another example. There's an AI called Harvey, which is backed by OpenAI and is formed on top of ChatGPT technology. And it is positioned by the company as a co-pilot for lawyers. And it's designed not to replace a lawyer, but to help a lawyer do better. And by the way, that image you see on the right there is one I generated yesterday with Midjourney. It has a natural language interface, so the lawyer can talk to the AI and is able to answer legal questions and even generate legal text. So for example, you might ask the AI, hey, does this contract have a provision in it for looking after our employees in California law? And if it does, can you make sure that it's fully compliant with that California law? So it's really impressive, apparently. I've not seen it, but it was impressive enough that Allen and Overy, who is a big premium law company, has become the first partner with Harvey, and they're going to put that into all of their law firms, their law offices all around the world. It's an international law firm, works in multiple languages, gives you an idea of the potential. Think about all the different jobs in your company. Can you imagine an assistant which is tuned for everybody in your company and to help them do their job and to help them do it to extreme performance levels? One more example. If we think about the way that software has been built over the last 50 years, when I very first started out, a good head of hair back in those glory days, I remember programming the very first device that my dad brought home from work. He worked as a physics lecturer at a university. I had to program this thing in machine code. So in entering hexadecimal codes and being able to figure out loading registers and that sort of thing. Very, very simple, very, very basic. But that's how things started. We then made things easier for ourselves by creating what's called assembly language, where we were able to start to visualize what that looked like. And then over time, we developed programming languages. We developed then object-oriented languages like C++ and Python. And now we're moving, as we're abstracting away from that machine code, we're starting to move towards coding assistants. Now, are these going to replace software programmers? I don't think so. What they will do is make it easier for software programmers. You're going to make it easier by checking their code, by making it easier to find errors in the code and automatically fix them. And they're going to make it a collaborative exercise where the drudgery, the boring parts of coding, become something that the coding assistant can do. And then the creative part, planning out what you want to do, the results you want to achieve, are done by the software programmer, the human software programmer. So just another example of an AI assistant and a human working side by side. So what's the opportunity here? I think there are two big opportunities for companies out there. The first one is, if you can pair your employee with an AI assistant, you're going to boost the performance level of that human. And as AI assistants get better and better, you're going to be able to take the average employee and, by pairing them with an AI assistant, boost their performance to that of your best employee. So your best salesperson, your average salespeople will now become as good as your best salespeople. And your best salespeople may become superhuman in their capabilities when paired with an AI assistant. And the same for every category of employee or company. To be thinking about, how can I elevate every employee in my company to superhuman performance levels by using AI assistants? Secondly, it is a chance to step back. Because there is so much possibility that the pairing of human and AI assistants together gives you the ability to scale your business in new ways, to cut costs in certain areas. You can start to refocus your business and start to think about, what are the new things we could do that we couldn't do before? How can we serve customers in new ways? How can we streamline our supply chains? And so on. So what you're able to do is to step back and think, what are we going to do differently? And my advice to you is to think about the core purpose of your company and think about, what are exciting new ways we could deliver on that core purpose in a way that would enhance the experience for our customers, deliver new revenue streams, and so on. So go back to the why of your business. Why are you in business? Not just to make money. You do something, you deliver something for humans, for people. What is that thing, and how could you do it better by using these AI assistants? So I'll leave you with 5 key challenges for you to think about in the next 5 to 10 years as these AI assistants come into the marketplace. First of all, think about, what are the business areas that you're going to need to rethink? Customer service, supply chain, I've already mentioned, operations. How would you rethink those areas if you can use these AI assistants and put AI into some of those roles? Secondly, a lot of people immediately go to, well, how can we replace our low-skilled workers with AI? I don't think that's the right answer. The question to ask is, should I be putting effort into replacing low-skilled workers, or do I get more bang for the buck by augmenting and elevating the high-skilled workers in my company? So have a think about that. The third one, challenge your IT department with the vision to support every employee in your organization with an AI assistant. Determine what AI vendor partnerships you need to do that. So start analyzing these vendors now. Who's got the interesting technology that's most suited to your business? How do you build those partnerships? How do you start beta testing? How do you get those things in-house, start testing with them, and so on? And finally, once you've determined what the path is going to be, what's your training plan to maximize the advantage that you're going to unlock using these new AI assistant tools? How do you get your team trained to use them as quickly as possible? Same way we all had to learn to use Excel and WordPerfect back in the day. Now you're going to have to learn to use these new AI tools. So those are my 5 key challenges for you and your business. If you want to learn more about the way I think, you can read my book, The Innovation Ultimatum. I'll be writing another book in the next year, all about AI and us and how that's going to change the way that we live our lives. I hope this was a useful provocation for you to think about the future of AI and AI assistance. And now I'll pass you back to Shreya. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
For more interesting content, like, comment, and subscribe to our NASScom YouTube channel.